Hey, how's it going? I just, I was busy solving all the graduate school problems for all the students there and helping them with their homework. Yeah, that would be not happening. I thought dude, you know what? Ryan Graves on Twitter, he says that he's actually in Boston, Mass now. And so I'm like, I saw some guy, I was like, is that Ryan? Is that Ryan? Is that Graves? It's like, no, it's not. Nah, man. We should call them. They're still open, right? We could call them live on air. Does somebody want to start a calling campaign and we'll all do it live? That'd be great. We can call Congress and do a little thing on that. That would be fun. Well, as you know, there's this guy and his name is Ronald Moultrie, right? Who's heard of Ronald Moultrie? And he's going to be the first individual we're going to talk about today. And let's just bring him up on the screen. And yeah, all right. Dude, I cut through all that disinformation and give you like the raw facts on 9/11. If you didn't watch my 9/11 stream, man, I debate like real skeptics like Shermer, and I get a lot of people on board with this. So you don't know what you're talking about. We can talk about that all day if you want. But that's a whole nother cover up. And the fact that there's an ongoing cover up with something that large, you have to understand that, it goes back way before that stuff, dude. We're talking about, pre-1948, stuff that happened before then that's connected to everything that's going on now. So, Ronald Moultrie apparently hid the fact that he worked at Battelle Memorial Institute, or he did consulting work for them. And his, Wikipedia article, of course, is super censored and stuff. But yes, they uncovered this morning. Christopher Sharp was the one on Twitter who posted this. And he's a reporter for the Liberation Times over in the UK, London journalist over in across the pond there. And so he posted this morning on pogo.org. And this was on his resume, apparently. And it says Battelle Memorial. And apparently he took this Battelle off when he got in front of the Pentagon and became a UFO expert for Congress, right? So this came out, and should be bigger news. It's probably been censored. It's only got 20,000 views on Twitter so far, and that's probably because what the CIA forces behind the scenes at Twitter are editing the algorithms. I can see it when you post key stuff, and they push like jokers and con artists and stuff to the front and keep us distracted with aliens, obviously fake bodies, dude, constructed of many different animal bones that have been warped and mutilated in different fashions to craft a fake skeleton that they could then, try to get some airtime on Gaia until it gets exposed by some real scientists who get the thing under MRI and get some real data on it. Apparently it is a llama skull. If you chop off the occipital lobe and the nasal top and the jawbone, and you just take this back part, right? The back of the head, and then you turn it around and make this thing the back, right? This is the brain cavity. Brain cavity goes right up here in the llama, right? And this brain cavity plus this thing on the front looks like, slightly mutilated and drilled out to make these the new occipital lobes. You can put the eyes back here, and boom, you've got yourself a fake. And, I call Bernie out for all these fake artifacts too that have been all over the place. And, it's just a distraction because you're not going to, even if the thing had DNA, it's like, that's not going to teach us anything about the technology and the real science of the stuff, which is the real cover up. that's going on, because they get this guy on here who pretends, to be an expert on UFOs, and it turns out that, he knows some stuff, or at least he probably doesn't know anything. All right, they probably just linked him in because he's from this proper background. But the key thing is that Battelle has existed since 1928. Right after Roswell. Okay, Roswell happens, and the Roswell material and debris, as we all know, were shipped to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That memory foil and all that weird stuff that Jesse Marcel saw and picked up, that he reported, was not a weather balloon, and testified under questions many times, him and his son, who saw the material as well. That material was all confiscated by military, Men in Black, and Atomic Energy Commission, and those such people. These guys have run this UFO file from back in the day. Of course, Battelle made the Demon course for the Manhattan Project, had the top security clearances during the 1940s. So they would have been the contractor they would have hired. And look what happened. Dayton, Ohio, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, October 31st, 1949. They're sending materials, and they basically, I don't know if they sent materials because it's not documented in this report, and that's not something that would be if it was so classified. But it's interesting, what the commission was for was a method of analyzing titanium alloys of unknown origin that were difficult, to analyze under conventional methodologies. And so these scientists in the report developed an analytical method for titanium-based alloys, John Elroy Center and A.C. Eckert. And he said that later, Elroy Center said that classified studies that are not public and not published and that are not known about from the 1940s that he was involved with, connected with this, which involved alien technology. All right. And this has been super covered up. And the analytical methods right here. What they did is they made chlorine carbon tetrachloride, and they would dissolve the stuff in chlorine carbon tetrachloride, and that's how they would measure the off gases, and then they'd be able to tell what it was made out of. So if you had a piece of material that you couldn't cut or fracture, you could potentially use this method to analyze it using the off gases. So it's interesting. This is a very crude and early method that they may have used. And then, of course, NASA is doing all this classified research then into shape retention alloys. And they're suddenly super interested in this nickel titanium. Nickel titanium was a highlight in this report. There's more pages on nickel titanium than any other alloy in there. So they were obviously super interested in the nickel titanium alloys in particular. And then, a couple of years later, you have them eventually developing the metallurgy to produce nickel titanium nitinol wire in the 1950s. So interesting that, a lot of classified research has gone on into these memory metals, and also NASA doing crystal growth in space and experimenting with crystal growth in space. So yeah, look into that stuff. And then I also pointed out, we got Nick Pope on Twitter, and he's saying, this is the former UK British Minister of Defense, and he apparently worked for the British government on UFO related stuff. And although he hasn't never declassified or let anything out that's serious, but he's always used on the mainstream channels as an expert. And I know that one time on the BBC a number of years ago, he went on with an MI6 agent, a former MI6 agent who was speaking out about 9/11. And the debate was just so horrible. He lost so badly to that former intelligence officer who was just breaking down 9/11 so hard to him that they ended up taking that down and putting that off the air. So that's gone. But now he's saying that, conspiracy theories about NASA being part of a UFO cover-up are unhelpful and run the risk of alienating an organization that could make a significant contribution to the wider U.S. government research and investigation into UFP. Let's welcome NASA's long overdue engagement. Long overdue, bro. They've been like engaged in this stuff. Look up the Allen Holt field propulsion, NASA. Those keywords should do it. Yeah, you'll find this document on the field propulsion study, or look up Paul Hill and read his book on unconventional flying objects, and you'll find plenty of proven literature where NASA has studied this and been studying this. And then they put out a report being like, oh, there's nothing to this. And we don't have any, there's nothing to this. Well, why? You have data on this, and you didn't, it's more of the cover up. And he's going to invite them to their engagement. Like this guy is a shill. If you want to talk about shills, dude, Nick is not helping. No. What has Nick done, dude? What has Nick Pope friggin' done for the movement, really? I mean, he's a nice guy. He's great. I had dinner with him in California, man. But Nick, you're wrong on this, man. You're wrong on 9/11. You're wrong on so much stuff, key things. Like, it's like, yeah, you agree on all this basic, core UFO, inconsequential crap. It's like all the inconsequential stuff he agrees on, he's cool with, and he's super nice. But then when it's anything that's real, he's like, oh no, he takes this like total like Fed stance, man. I smell like, yeah, dude, it smells like Fed to me. I don't know, man. If anyone's a Fed, I'd say that guy is, especially when he teamed up with Greenstreet. And I'm like, Greenstreet, like you're just debunking all this crap. Are you gonna like cover any of the real stuff? And he doesn't respond to any of my emails, even though he follows me on Twitter, follows my stuff. Greenstreet doesn't like respond or cover any. I've never seen him cover any of my stuff either, man. So he's working with this guy at the New York Post, and I feel like they're just part of this operation where that someone's running this behind the scenes. Okay, it's not these guys that are doing this. It's the coordinators who run the mediascape, and the name of the game is the puppet show that they're putting on. Is they put Jeremy Corbell up, and then they beat the crap out of him. These guys, his partner Nick Pope doesn't, but his partner over there, Stephen Greenstreet, beats the crap out of Jeremy Corbell, and it's like this ongoing game in the media where these followers of Jeremy Corbell think, oh, he's getting mainstream media exposure and all this stuff. And the most exposure he's getting is really people making fun of him in the big media. And yeah, it's intelligence puppet. Exactly. It's so crazy. Yeah. And the TTSA bandwagon, dude, I hope they're now backpedaling, man. There's more coming out. Don't worry. But the fact that Ronald Moultrie has ties to Battelle and then hid them is crucial, and that needs to be like called out. And I think we should do like a phone home where everyone just calls into Congress. What's the number for Congress? We have Tim Burchett's office, right? You can call Tim Burchett. If you guys want to call Tim Burchett, go ahead and do that. Here's his Maryville district office. The Knoxville district office would probably be the best one. That's the home office, or the DC office. Maybe the DC office, or maybe call both. But yeah, we should blast out to, because I'm just one voice, man. I can do it here by myself. If you guys want, I'll call. But yeah, everyone should reach out and say, listen, look deeper into Battelle, because they manage all of our national labs, right? Battelle Memorial Institute, BMI, right? They manage all of our national laboratories, and this guy is working for them. It's a conflict of interest. And this is where the investigation needs to go. I've already reached out to the lawyer, Daniel Sheen, and gotten through to his office. I spoke with his secretary on the phone. I know that he got the email, and she's going to make sure he gets it. So I'm going to follow up with that and make sure that, he's not just super busy, and that he really, makes this a key part of the official Judicial Oversight Committee and the Government Oversight Committee's probe into the UFO business before they, take Corbell as the example of why they should close the file forever. So this is what needs to happen in the political and legal sphere in order to win this battle. And I don't see any other way of penetrating the armor of the military-industrial complex, which has been set up since World War II. In 1947, right after World War II, the Air Force was created, the CIA was created, the NSA was created, all on the same day, July 10th, 1947, 3 days after Roswell. And all this stuff went into effect. It was already kind of planned, somewhat planned and ready. And this is what the OSS became, the CIA. And what really happened is the military-industrial complex, became integrated. It became integrated with the Nazis. Operation Paperclip too. Don't forget. So we brought all of the German intelligence and paperclip scientists here, and some of the people that helped set up the CIA, including Prescott Bush, were Nazi sympathizers, and also helped, with the Smedley Butler thing, helped fund a coup against the United States government once before. And what they really wanted to do is set up an alternative government that could take over and run the United States. So what they ended up doing is, under the National Security Act, they set up this very top secret program, which was called the Continuity of Government Program, or COG, right? And that is a program where they are basically have another backup government at Northcom and CENTCOM. There's several different backup governments that are able to take over in the event of emergency and run the microstates as part of the sub-government. Like, say that a nuclear bomb takes out all of Washington, D.C., and they have to, move shop. But the continuity of government program is insane. And as I mentioned before, Biden. So let's go to Luke's website, because Luke posted this thing about Biden. Let me just. I want to play that video real quick because it was key. He posts so much crap that I'm gonna have to look for it. Let me see. Luke Rudkowski, Biden funding. No. Oh, no, I spelled it wrong. I probably spelled his whole last name wrong. Luke Biden funding. Where the heck is this, dude? No. Come on, man. Should have had this. Oh no. No, I can't. They hid this on purpose, dude. You won't be able to search for this, but he posted the video where he confronted Biden about 9/11 funding. And so I gotta find this now. Oh yeah, they're right here. All right, here it is. Ready? All right, let's go. present. And I'm going to make sure you guys can hear this because the audio was not playing for that. So I'm going to start it over again. Sorry about that. I'll get the hang of this eventually. It sucks. It sucks with Mac. It's Mac, dude. I got to get my other setup back. My computers, my data. I have so much 9/11 data. You guys have no idea. I got to post it all.
Confronted Joe Biden many years ago. He had a lot of different meetings with some of the people that bankrolled the 9/11 hijackers. It wasn't just Saudi Arabia. It wasn't just Israel. It wasn't just the U.S. intelligence agency. It was also the Pakistani ISI. And the president of the United States plays a role in all of this with his meetings with a lot of people that were involved in these events.
Actions will be demanded.
In the days following 9/11, you met with the head of Pakistani ISI, General Muhammad Ahmed. It has since come to light that he ordered Saeed Sheikh to wire $100,000 to Muhammad Atta. Why was he allowed to go back to Pakistan, and why wasn't he questioned, and why were you meeting with him?
I met with him to deliver a message that if he didn't stop supporting the Taliban, we would take him out.
Why did we let him go? We let him fly freely. We never investigated him. We never even looked into him.
Look, there's a thing called diplomatic passports.
But he financed the hijackers, and you let him go, and he's free. He hijacked the hijackers.
No one knew he financed the
He
hijackers.
hijacked. It's wired.
As they say, get
recorded.
Confronted Joe Biden many years ago. He had a lot of different meetings. Confronted Joe Biden many years ago. He had a lot of different meetings with some of the people that bankrolled the 9/11 hijackers. It wasn't just Saudi Arabia. It wasn't just Israel. It wasn't just the U.S. intelligence agency. It was also the Pakistani ISI. And the president of the United States plays a role in all of this with his meetings with a lot of people that were involved in these events.
Actions will be demanded.
In the days following 9/11, you met with the head of Pakistani ISI, General Muhammad Ahmed. It has since come to light that he ordered Saeed Sheikh to wire $100,000 to Muhammad Atta. Why was he allowed to go back to Pakistan, and why wasn't he questioned, and why were you meeting with him?
I met with him to deliver a message that if he didn't stop supporting the Taliban, we would take him out.
Why did we let him go? We let him fly freely. We never investigated him. We never even looked into him.
Look, there's a thing called diplomatic passports.
But he financed the hijackers, and you let him go, and he's free. He hijacked the hijackers.
No one knew he financed the
He
hijackers.
hijacked. It's wired.
As they say, get
recorded.
Confronted Joe Biden many years ago. He had a lot of different meetings with some of the people that bankrolled the 9/11 hijackers.
Yeah. So, anyways, he, that's our president right now, and it says a lot. He also pretty much ran the White House with Obama and everything too, just like Dick Cheney ran the White House under Bush. So it's not really. They're just puppets in front anyway. It's really other people controlling the government, running the government behind the scenes. You mentioned the continuity of government program is basically like this whole shadow government that meets and does all this stuff behind the scenes. In any case, yeah, Luke, we are change, and he's one of the guys on the Timcast podcast, which is interesting political news. If you're looking for a different slant on political news, I suggest tuning into them. So, in any case, yeah, it's a big club, and you ain't in it exactly. In any case, let's keep. Let's see what we want to talk about. Anything else? I'll take some questions from the audience. Anyone have anything that they want to bring up or get into here? Oh, I see. Bernie's there. Hey, what's up, man? Feel free to jump in if you can. Tina. Hey, what's going on? Oh my God. Oh, hey, Lulu, how are you?
Good. How are you? I
Good,
love
yeah.
the emphasis. I love the emphasis when he says And if he didn't, stop supporting, like, it gives so much, the power of credibility. Funny, it's funny.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. So the Mexican hearing, yeah, I just told you, it's the Mexican hearing is kind of like a big. I wonder what the Mexicans thought of the Mexican hearing, because like I was talking to some people, and apparently that's what the Mexicans believe in, all that stuff. So they're probably like a way bigger proportion of Mexicans believe it, I guarantee, than Americans. But as far as
Wouldn't you think they should have had like glass casings on these things so they don't erode? Like, just having them exposed like that, like, is that right to handle these? No, right? I was looking over at the video again, and it just seemed like, how do you just leave something like that, uncased? It's funny.
Yeah, those things. By the way, there's that video. We should play that video. And you know what? I'm gonna play that video with the Llama Skull, where the guys who did the analysis of it show that. Let me just find it. Oh, where the heck is it? It's got all my like music playlists in here, and here's the video right here. So you guys, that's not it.
Doesn't have much credibility. Like, he's done like hoaxes in the past, so it just once somebody does it once, they could do it again, for money, for publicity, for recognition, for him to go back onto the idea of the alien scene. But they said like in 2017 he did some also like another hoax of the like that, like he faked something. So I don't know.
I don't think this is the video where they did it. I don't know. I don't see the part where they do the whole analysis and show it on this one. This is the wrong fucking video. Anyways, I had the video, the right video, and this one's like full of stupid jokes and crap. So one of these guys have a video. This Scientists Against Myths apparently put out a video, and I was watching it on one of these other channels. This one. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the right video. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share this so that people can hear it. And this is fair use, by the way.
What's that? Is this a metatarsal bone? It's a midfoot bone. It's followed by a phalange, then a metacarpal, then again by phalanges. Let's look at the articulation joints now. Look at this X-ray of a real human hand. The bones are fitted snugly to each other, artistic concaves with few clearances. Otherwise, you'd have difficulty moving your hand. The so-called alien mummy's hand is all messed up. Concaves join concaves at random. And what's inside the hand? Very few joints, just a mess of stumps. And why is a human ulna there? The wrong way around, with its point facing the fingers. Let's examine the second hand now. Things look better here. Inside the hand, we spot a tibia or shin bone, two metacarpals hanging loosely, some phalanges, and other mishmash. Finally, his hand number 3. Looks even better. But the fingers are still a puzzling mix of hand and foot bones. Inside the wrist, we can make out 2 humeri or upper arm bones, 2 ulnae, and 1 tibia that all seem to have belonged to a child. Amongst these, we find a border vertebra. Why on earth does it have to be here? Well, just because. Let's now look at all the hands together. You get an impression that their creator was gaining experience with each subsequent hand. The first hand was a complete flop, but the forger was learning from their mistakes. But if these hands belong to creatures of one and the same species, then why are they so versatile? Look at hands of different apes. They may seem to have little similarity, but they always follow a single plan. And here we only see a total hodgepodge of stuff. The official mummy website says the hands are made up of 26 bones each. I counted them up, left to right, 31, 27, 24, and 26 bones. You can check yourselves. It's a miracle of bioengineering. A bionic Lego set that uses homeotic genes. The Atlanteans were capable of creating any biorobotic servants they wished, ignoring the laws of biomechanics.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, where's the this is so bad. This is the worst part though, is the llama skull. All right, so check this out.
Those who crafted the small humanoid mummies used skulls of some small mammals for their heads, such as a llama or alpaca. Comparison shows that the reptiloid's cranial cavity fits perfectly the cranial cavity of a llama. The location of the olfactory bulbs, the inner ear, the brain hemispheres, and the cerebellum precisely matches those in a llama skull. The whole facial part of the skull was broken off, leaving only the brain case. The skull was then rotated so its back part faces forward. The reptiloid's face is actually the back of the poor llama's head. Paleontologist Rodolphus Ponti is of the same opinion. Where could the mummy forgers have gotten a llama skull? Historian Yuri Bereskin has told me that pre-Columbian peoples of Peru often made llama burials. Here's a fresh report about finding buried llama mummies in Peru. Paleontologist Alexei Bondarev has examined a photograph depicting the base of the skull of one of the mummies, from which the skin had been lifted. See this unusual square foramen magnum, the alleged place of the junction of the brain and the spinal cord. You can clearly see how the so-called skin goes inside the square hole with no tearing. It's as if a human neck went right inside the hole in the back of their skull. You can make a doll like this, but it's simply impossible to find in a real mummy of any creature, be it of a humanoid or reptiloid kind. Master, where do we attach the backbone? What? Onto the forehead? How many times should I tell you? This creature has no analogs in terrestrial fauna. Do as you're told.
Yeah, this is great, man. You know, and I credit Tom Anderson for finding this on the. I wish I played it on the stream the other day, but I had to go too fast. I should have just stayed and played it, man. That was pretty key. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? I won't leave this guy's. That was pretty.
It's funny. They would go through so much trouble to broadcast, to the world something fake. It's sad, if anything.
Well, this is weird because this video is 2 years old. So these guys, this was brought out apparently a couple of years ago that Jamie Masson first passed these skeletons around, and he's got like crazy contract with Gaia now, and this was obviously a publicity stunt. A lot of people were saying that it was a publicity stunt that he did to even get up there, just so he could get more views for his Gaia television show, and the fact that it was already debunked this thoroughly 2 years ago, and he brought it to a congressional, government hearing. I just
People gobble up anything for a little bit of attention, You know, the funny thing is, I'm 100% sure they do have like real stuff. Why bring
Two
up
alleged mummified.
Right. Well, this is like, was this a psyop to judge the public's reaction?
what the difference be?
But it would
to
be,
bring
if it was, it's a very poor one, because they could,
And what's more valuable, having contact with your own kind that came back from the future, or having contact with aliens from another species? What's more valuable to you, and who are you more likely to talk with? That's
none
an
of
easy one to
telling.
answer, man.
They have the technology or the, the science, really. It's like,
And what's more reasonably valuable to cover up at the same time? What type of contact is more valuable to keep a secret?
I think the
Contact with
future-
an alien species or contact with your own species from the future? Which
Our
one is
own
more
species.
valuable to keep covered up?
our own species, of course, because you know that
Both of those questions come out with the same answer. And they're two different questions. Which one's more valuable to contact? Your own kind from the future, or another kind of the humanoid species from another planet that you don't know anything about? Which one are you more likely to contact?
It better, like our own species, I think, just to prove that, hey, you know, time.
When it comes
is
to the
not-
wildlife, you're not going to worry. You got weapons. They're not sentient, humanoid species. They're just four-legged on fours. They're just going to eat you, There's no intelligence to be had. And when when it comes to wildlife and on another planet, like an alien bull, for instance, you're going to go there with a gun ready for that bull in case it does something out of the ordinary, aggressive, but you're not going to so easily shoot an alien humanoid species, even if it's aggressive at you, because it's still within your species. So the same goes for which kind, who you're going to contact with, an alien bull or an alien species. Well, the alien species wins that one. You're going to go for the alien species for contact, not the alien bull. But when it comes to your own kind coming back from the future, over which one do you contact now? Over the aliens, which one's safer to deal with? Probably yourself better, even if it's your future self, right? So you're probably going to be more comfortable dealing with your future self than you are dealing with an alien species of the humanoid species. Which there's probably many humanoid species. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm just saying which is more likely to be the first type you contact. It's going to be one of your own species, even though there's probably multiple. The government's not going to allow any other type of contact unless it's of your own species in the alien realm coming to Earth, like within our humanoid range of species, So
Do you
did
think
you guys
we
see?
would be the initiators of contact, or do you think they would be initiating to choose who they
I think it's all
contact?
distraction. There's no, the contact that's happening with an alien species of the human kind, of the humanoid kind, but not our line of species of humanoid, is happening remotely. That's maybe the UFOs you're seeing that never land, okay, because they're scared of us as much as we would be scared of them trying to land on their planet.
It's fair to say.
But are you going to be scared?
I'm
Are you going to be
inquisitive
scared of an
mind
alien bull
who
on
has,
an alien
spent
planet?
40
No, you're going to
years
go
in
there
the
with your
intelligence
rifle and
field
like,
has
hey,
focused on both science and science.
there's nothing but bulls on this planet, so let's land.
Yeah, well, look,
All
my
right.
generation grew up looking at
Safety is priority number one for all species.
Hey guys, I gotta wrap up, man, and I gotta get going. And this was great. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's all hypothetical about whether there's time travel or not. And it's interesting thoughts, bro. But like, it's all hypothetical because I don't know if there's time travel, and if there is, then reality doesn't exist because you could just go back and edit it and change anything about it. And So therefore, what's the point of doing anything if time travel is a reality? So I'll leave it at that, guys, and have a good night, and have a good time. You know, enjoy this life, because someone could just go back in time and change it and destroy everything. If that's real, but it's not. Totally not.